Thank you for coming by and checking this out. So, I'm dealing with domestic terrorism in regards to a major energy crisis with Wi Fi, coaxial, antenna, satellite communication. With all the different types of metal and conductivity and wireless conductivity now, you have energies that are being harnessed to attack the human body and to provide additional compression on the body to ramp up the battery within the body. Uh, to potentially cause physical issues like cancer, to spy on people, to steal people's ideas, um, all types of very serious things. Potential pedophiles hide within this position to watch children. Um, but what we're going to talk about now is interracial issues. So you have America, which has left a position of slavery and is trying to step beyond that and show more of good cultural quality, and you have a position of national security where energy is being used to spy on people. So you potentially have issues where the Klan has dug underground and is attacking people that are trying to create positivity around interracial situations. So you have Larry and Raven. You have Larry. I connected with the Larkin because you've got Larry Bird, right, which is an acknowledgement of a bird, and you have a blackbird, which is Raven. You have acknowledgement of a blackbird, right? So you got white and black, and you've got the culmination of me marrying my wife, right? So my name's Larry, her name's Raven. We have a kid. I become told as a child that I'm going to get attacked and that I'm going to go through a situation of suffrage where I have to stand up in regards to this energy crisis, right? My father acknowledged it. Um, he was a cop for 35 years. He handed me my selective service papers, which, if you guys don't know what selective service papers are, those are the papers that when you potentially sign up for the draft in the military. It doesn't necessarily mean you are in the military, you are signing up to have your name acknowledged and put onto a list in case the military has to draw from a list. So in no way was I acknowledged as being in the military. I have military within my family. When he handed me my selective service papers, he said, I don't want you to join the military. I want you to go off and live a good American life. You've had a lot of people who have been in the military within your family. We just want you to experience that. There's a potential that when you are 37 years old, that you are going to go through something major for the country, and that um, afterwards it'll all be acknowledged. But in the meantime, enjoy your life. So sure enough, at 37, I began to get attacked and started to hear voices. Um, and I've been watching things in regards to dreams, um, and people show up at exact spots in my life. I'm not trying to acknowledge any of this or get into any of this. I'm more so doing documentation in regards to who's potentially being victimized. Because if I'm seeing people show up at specific spots, that means they're either being puppeted or they're terrorizing people because they're doing stuff behind people's backs to potentially spy and to be there and so on and so forth. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. For the last 5 years, I've gone through a divorce over this. I explained to my wife that I was hearing voices, and she felt that I needed to seek mental help. In the process of seeking mental help, she, requested to go through a divorce with me. Um, I think ultimately because, she didn't want to struggle in life and she felt that she had, and she didn't want to, I guess, stand by me through everything that I'm going through right now and the hardships. Um, so you have a position where an interracial couple is being victimized by energy. The man is being terrorized and harassed within his head. You have the symbolism of a white bird and a black bird, and just basically the pure disrespect around that. Um, we've added the cross in regards to this acknowledgement because you talk about potentially God being within us all, the Son of God being able to give life, being potentially a reference to the genitalia in olden terms. So, in that, We're here staring at a position of martyrdom around Jesus and using a black bird and a white bird and an electrical crisis and taking people at the age of 37, which once again is a reference to Jesus. I have so many things around my life in regards to my middle name being Michael, which is an M&M situation. My birthday exists 3 days after St. Patrick's Day, which, if you do an acknowledgement around stars and in regards to Jesus, is a potential acknowledgement in regards to Easter and the resurrection and the time of the crucifixion, that the resurrection could exist on March 20th. Then, furthermore, you've got the body of Christ, and you're given bread, and you talk about the blood of Christ, and you're given wine, and you talk about wellness in regards to food and bread and wine, cleaning out the system, and you talk about Jesus cleaning feet in regards to grounding people out better. Uh, this also becomes an acknowledgement of the pyramids and what the pyramid was used for, and what it was to put Jesus within a stone building, and for him to resurrect out of the stone building. So back in the day, we potentially had planetary shifting, and it was acknowledged that we've dealt with things in regards to um, new celestial alignments and new planetary alignments, because we see it as we study. There's an acknowledgement that potentially a planet like Venus shifted directly past us and found itself within an orbit closer to the sun. And the gravitational pulls that you're dealing with potentially made a play on the human body. Situations where guys potentially couldn't deal with erections. And when you talk about being able to continue with life, the world might have been faced with a challenge of being able to continue to procreate, and that's why they began to create the pyramids. That's why Jesus res erected. You talk about res erection versus plays on words and showing people things. Jesus has been a tremendous symbol in regards to showing you the great ways of life, in regards to being a good leader, a good friend, how to eat properly, how to drink properly, how to bathe yourself properly. The last step would be that if there was a planetary shift or gravity placed on the body in a tremendous way, Jesus would be there showing us again how to shelter our bodies. This is an acknowledgement in regards to Caucasians and African Americans, in regards to light skin and dark skin, in regards to the Caucasus Mountains and being able to hide, and how people became white and how people became dark, because some people were exposed to uh, the planetary shift more so than others. More than just living by the equator and the, exposure to the sun, it becomes an acknowledgement that people sought shelter underground and were able to continue to procreate. So I just wanted to share this story because this shows the true depth of domestic terrorism and how people are latching on to specific stories in people's lives, because I'm definitely going through it. There's no doubt about it. You tell a 14-year-old adopted child he's going to get attacked at 37, and I'm going through it, and you got a black bird and a white bird, and you got all these different situations. I mean, I'm so over it at this point. At this point, I'm basically looking at it that the life's dealing with a tremendous electrical hack, and people are unwilling to talk about it. I've reached out to the police and to the feds, and no one's willing to get back to me properly, which basically creates a tremendous disconnect between justice and, no justice. So at this point, I'm documenting everything, and I'm getting it ready to put out there to the authorities again, and then potentially potentially news programming, and then potentially just getting it all out there to YouTube. All right, thank you for watching.